Hi everybody, it is Julia here from Julia K Art Studio, and today I thought I was going to share the process of making a Christmas present for my parents where I paint almost all of our animals. So here you can see the stack of sketches that I have made. The foundation of the sketch is done with Nougat, Albrecht Faber-Castell watercolor pencil, and then I have gone over with Micron 0.1 sepia marker. So I've done that on pretty much all of them, and there are about 30 portraits in total. So this year, or last year technically, I wanted to make a Christmas present for my parents, and I was like, oh gosh, what can you give your parents? That we don't have everything, but we're pretty well off. We have what we need, and we live very beautifully out in the Swedish forest, and so I was like, oh, what can I do? And I thought it would be really fun to have a piece with all of our animals. We lived on our farm. I think my dad moved out here about 10 years before I was born. So he has lived here for a very long time. And my mom, she lived here, obviously before I was born too. So, and they both have animals when they moved here. And I just thought the animals are such a big part of our life. It would be really nice to have something to sort of remember them. So I was like, okay, but can I do like a portrait of all of them? And then I started to list all of the animals, and I realized that is not possible, especially with the time frame when I came up with this, which was like the beginning of November, to make it done before Christmas, and then like how big this would be. So, but yeah, I narrowed it down a bit. I decided to only paint 2 cows. We have had quite a lot of cows, but I decided to go with the first 2 ones. And then also the bunny. So you can see here I'm painting Britta, which is my bunny. We have had 3 more, but Britta, she was special to me. So I decided to not include the others. If I decide one day like, yeah, I'm going to paint the 3 other ones, yeah, then I can go back and add them. I'm going to show you later how I decided to mount them all, but yeah. So this was a real process, both in planning and executing, and especially because here, for example, this is my dad's first cat. It was Sander, and I couldn't find a photo of him. Now, obviously, when I was a kid, I was born 1994, and I think my dad moved out here in 85, if I'm not mistaken. So, you just didn't take photos back then as you do now. So, like Sander, I had to sort of make up, but he's a Swedish farm cat, and they sort of all look the same. But yeah, that was a bit. And then for some, like my mom's cat, I had to sort of, I only had one black and white photograph of her, so it was almost like, okay, yeah. So that was also a fun thing, to go back and try to find photos of all of them. The animals we have now, obviously I could sort of take photos as I went, and if I didn't like something, I could take a new photo of them or post them sort of. Whereas the others, I had to be very true to the photo that I had. So yeah. But yeah, so like I said, we live out here in the Swedish forest. We have about a mile or 10 kilometers to the nearest city. And yeah, we are very happy here. I have had an amazing childhood here, and I would not want to move away. I do want to move because I feel like I am now on the 22nd of January turning 27, which is a little bit, and I'm still living at home with my parents. Now, most of that is down to me being chronically ill or having a chronic pain condition, which is affecting life quite a lot. But now when I have my own business, I'm hoping that I might find a place where I could be like, my own. But other than that, I mean, the actual place where we live, I love it. I mean, it rains quite a lot because where we live, but it is beautiful. I love that we have different seasons. As I'm recording this, it is snowing a lot outside, big flakes, and it just looks magical. So, and we have our amazing dogs right now. We have had a few other animals. We have had a hamster, a Buddha, that is my brother's hamster, so of course I had to include him. That's my brother's only animal. But other than that, I mean, we have had horses and cows always, cats and dogs. My mom and my dad, they both had one dog, one cat, and one horse each when they moved together. And after that, of course, we have had quite a lot of horses and a lot of cows. And now we don't have either. We don't have any horses or any cows. We have my uncle's cows here in the summer, so they can graze here. And we also have a few horses that come and graze, but we don't have any of our own. But we do now have, we have 5 dogs. One is mine, and the others are mom and dad's, and they have a kennel where they breed Petit Basset Griffon Vendée, which are hunting dogs. So, I mean, the animal types have changed a bit, but we have always had one of those dogs. So yeah. So of course there's a lot of horses, which was very nice to go back, and I mean, I really miss the horses a lot. I really do. And it was a little bit sad to go back and like, yeah, we don't have them anymore. But yeah, times move on, I suppose. And also thinking that right now, where I'm recording this is in the studio that I have, which used to be the stable that my dad built. I think it was done the year I was born, so that summer. But yeah, so it's a bit hard to think that before I spent all of my time here grooming the horses, and now I'm spending all of my time here painting or making paint. So yeah, later, 2006, I think, we built a bigger stable and a workshop for my dad. So that is why. But yeah, so the horse we have on the screen right now, that is Molly, or Pretty Molly. That was the horse my mom had when she moved in with my dad. And and here we have Albert. I think if you watch the channel, you will be I think you would recognize him. So Albert is my dog that I have right now, and he's a miniature red poodle, and he is amazing. He really is. He is my dream dog. Like, the dog that I have always wanted was a red poodle. And 2019, in November, I got to bring him home. So yeah, I'm very happy. 1 year later, though, he was in a car accident. He got hit by a car. So right now we are on the road to rehabilitation. We go to rehab every week. So yeah. Here we have another little puppy that we have right now. That is Uni. She was born in June 2020. And so this year, 2020, my mom and dad decided to keep 2 puppies. So Uni, that is the puppy of Maiken, and then also we decided to keep Elsa, which is the puppy of Dagmar. So those 2 are just 2 months apart, and it is a little bit of a hassle having 2 very young puppies together, but they have a lot of fun. So here you can see Elsa. They are very, very different. Uni is almost completely white except the ears, whereas Elsa is almost completely colored, which is not something that is desired in this kind of breed. Well, according to my mom, it's not desired. But yeah, they are very, very different. Uni is very light and very dainty, whereas Elsa is not. in any way. So yeah, but it's very fun to see them, and they have a lot of fun together. And Albert, he and Junie gets along really well. So yeah, and here we have Viola, and Viola was like my first dog. She also is part of the kennel, but she didn't hunt very well, so she became sort of mine. And it was also when she was born was when I got sick, or well, I got diagnosed sort of. And she was a big support to me, a lot of support when I was feeling bad, and she sort of looked after me. But she got a tick disease, and she only got to 5 before we had to put him down because of this tick disease. And another dog we have had, Valdemar, he got the same disease. So it just took too long before they got the diagnosis. So, but yeah. So Viola was not the dog that I wanted, but the dog that I needed, I suppose. She was my best friend, and I miss her incredibly. So yeah. I don't think I can talk about all of the animals, but so of course the dogs play a big part here because of the kennel, and that was also a bit of a challenge when painting this because they are the same breed, and they're also, not only are they the same breed, but they are sort of the same line. So apart from Dagmar and the two like original quote unquote petits that we had, they are very, very similar because they're sort of all the same line. I mean, Fridolf, that you can see here, he's sort of like the father, and then we have had like his puppies, and then those gave new puppies, and so he is the grandfather to Viola. And here you can see Valdemar, who we also had to let go away because of that tick disease. He was a triple champion, and yeah. Anyway, I'm going to get really sad. But yeah, so what I'm going to say is that it's a bit tricky because we have dogs that are the same breed, but they also look very, very close to each other because they are not only the same breed, but they come from the same sort of line in the breed because, it's a kennel. So it was like, okay, we really need to make sure we can sort of tell them apart. And some of them I feel like I did a good job on, and some of them I just think look a little bit weird. Some of them I painted a few times. I don't know if that helped. But yeah, and then at some point you just have to say, when you're working on this kind of big project, is this is what I need to do. This is the time that I have. Sometime you just need to make compromises. So yeah, one that I was particularly pleased with is this one. This was my pony Cheval, or Valle as I called him. He was a crossbreed between Connemara and Arabian full-blood, and he was 19 when I got him. And when we had to let him sleep in, he was 28, I think. So he has a very special place in my heart. I had him for more than half of my life when we had to let him sleep in. So yeah, and I feel like when you look at all of these animals and you realize just like how many have passed away, at the same time I feel like, but we gave them a really good life while they were here. And so Cheval, he had to sleep in because he got really old. He started losing his teeth and he couldn't chew his food properly, so he couldn't put on weight. And when the winter came, we just like, it's not fair on him. And then Bamse, that I had at the same time, he was a big one. He was like my dream horse. He was 175 centimeters. He was classically trained in the old school Baroque riding, and but he got an accident where his hoof got a boil in it, and then because it took so long time for that to heal, because there was such a big boil, the front hoof bones rotated down to the soles of the hoof. So yeah. Okay, we can't talk about the sad ending of them. No, don't do that. This is Ebba, one of the first cows. So my mom and dad, they bought 2 cows in the beginning. They bought Ebba and Ingmarie. And Ebba, she was a crossbreed between Hereford and Highland cattle. It doesn't look it, but you know. So they got these 2 ones, and that is sort of like the beginning of the end. I was going to say, we had cows for more than 20 years, I think. And this is Ingmarie. She was a Highland cattle. So the cows that we have had are sort of like pretty much all of them related to these 2. And it has always been, the bulls that we have taken in has always been Highland bulls or Hereford bulls. So the cows we've had have been, I mean, Highland, they don't grow very fast, so it's not like if you want to start meat production, it's not the way to go. But I mean, that was not the aim for us. We wanted cows that would be able to go outside and keep the nature open. And yeah, they did a really good job, and I can honestly say I really miss them, even though they weren't like cows that would come and like snuggle with you. But yeah, so that's what I think is really fun when we have my uncle's cows. He has a different kind of breed. They are rödkullor, so they are like, the color is red and the kulle, yeah, so they don't have any horns. So they come here in the summer, so that feels a bit, the village that we live in, it's about 10 houses. It feels pretty empty without having animals. I mean, most of us have dogs or cats, but it's a different thing having animals in the actual village. So I have been trying to get sheep, but nobody really wants to support me in that. I thought it would be really good. I mean, they sort of fill the same function of keeping the village open and grazing, but they are smaller, they're cute, you know. But yeah, I'm not getting any support in that. I thought that when my brother, that he would like support me in this. I tried to sell him, you know, the wool, that he could make money with the wool and everything, but yeah, he's not having it. And yeah, I'm not wanting to admit defeat, but I think it's, yeah. So yeah, we'll see if there will end up some sheep on this painting, but probably not. The one on the screen right now, it is a foal. That is Charisma, that we had, you know, as a foal, and then she moved away, but she was a very nice foal, and I spent a lot of time with her and did a lot of, you know, training stuff that I thought was very fun. And this is her mother, Isabella, and she was a very particular horse. My mom got her when she was a foal, and we discovered later, after we had sold Isabella, that she had cysts on her ovaries, and that was probably why she was not really acting the way she should. So yeah. Imagine that. But I'm really happy with this one. It's a really good likeness, so I'm happy about that. So, and it's also like, how do you decide what animals to bring into a painting like this, especially when you have more animals? So the horses, what I sort of said was, if they're born here or if they have passed here, they sort of are included. But I mean, I have had, I think, 4 horses that I have, you know, borrowed. You know, in between horses. So this was my first horse. This is Hugo. So he was my first horse, but you know, he was a miniature Shetland pony, so I grew out of him rather quickly. So in between I got him, and then before I got my other horse, I borrowed one, and I was like, should I include that horse? So I said, like, if they sort of born here or if they passed here. So yeah, so this is an example. We have Urus. He was the foal of my next pony after Hugo. So yeah, he turned out really nice. He later competed in when you drive after horses. He competed in that, which was really cool. This is my dad's first horse. And now we're going into like the old school, the original. So Natalie was my dad's horse, and that dark brown Molly, that was my mom's first horse. This is my dad's first dog, Fabian. He was a beagle, and yeah, it was my dad's first like proper his own dog. So that was Fabian. He hunted a lot of hares, and he liked swimming. Yeah. So that was Fabian. And then we have Ali, which was my mom's dog. So she's a black miniature Schnauzer. And my mom got her when she was 5 or 7, I think. And she was like a breed dog. So yeah, and this is her cat. So yeah, that is pretty much all of them, I think. Yeah, it's a bit weird when you see like there is so many animals, but when you don't have all of them at once, obviously, and then you get to know them so quickly. The first dog I painted, I didn't really talk about her, but that was Frigg, and I mean we only had her for 9 weeks. And I decided to include her, even though 9 weeks, when you think about this, these animals are a span of almost 30 years. 9 weeks is nothing. But partly she left a very big imprint on me, and partly it's because she was born here, she was one of our puppies born in the kennel, and we had to put her to sleep when she was just 9 weeks old, because there was wrong with her, oh gosh, I can't say this in English, like her urinary pipe, something. It was misshapen, and the vet said like, yeah, we could try to operate her, but there's no guarantees and everything. So she recommended letting her go. And that was really, it's always very sad when you have to let somebody sleep in, but with the horses and with Viola and everything, it's like they've had a good life. I know they've had a rich, long life, but with Frigg, she was 9 weeks old. How, yeah, that was awful. We wasn't going to talk about the sad parts. Gosh. So anyway, back to the actual project. After I had sort of finished all of the paintings to the sort of best that I could. Like I said, you need to sort of decide like how much time and effort can you put in. And so timeline leading up to Christmas is still working, and all of that. So I just finished all of them up with going over with white gel pen and then that same sepia micron to just add a little bit of extra like depth in the eyes or in the nose or something like that. Then I decided to frame them, and this took a long time, so I've sped it up quite a bit. And what I decided to do was cover the back paper that comes with the frame with just craft paper, so that the white had a little bit of contrast. And then I sort of made a grid, and I decided to put them very roughly into the order that they lived or were born, or sort of. So yeah, there's still space where we can add to the painting. No doubt there will be additions, either if that is the missing 3 bunnies or more cows or just animals coming later. But here it is, and I decided to film this without the frame so you wouldn't get the glare. But yeah, very roughly in the order that we had all of the animals. And yeah, some of them I'm happier with, some of them I cringe a little bit, but on the whole, I'm just really happy seeing this collection of all of them. And I feel like, because I don't think would be like, yeah, putting up a photograph or putting up a portrait on each of them up in the house. I don't think that would be something, but now we have all of them and they all get like the recognition that they deserve. So I'm just really happy with it. And I hope you have liked the process and me chatting a little bit. And I hope to see you soon.